future's here.
The future is coming,
Understand
Shawny.
the concept of love. Just at Radio Future.
The future the future is coming, Shawnee. They are we got Don Quixote.
Don Quixote, Don
Don
Crispino.
Quixote.
Speaking of the future, John, what are we talking about
The
today? Switch.
in the future,
And El Futuro.
I predict, this is a
Mm.
very strong prediction of mine, okay? All right? Are you ready for this? You ready for this prediction?
Tell me.
I predict Nintendo will release another console. Crazy.
Really, no.
All right.
After the Switch, they're gonna release another
Do you
console.
think we'll get an actual Mario Kart 9?
No, because Mario Kart 9 was Mario Kart Tour. That's why.
That's some Nintendo shit.
Hey, listen, don't be surprised when the next Mario Kart that comes out is called Mario Kart 10 or Mario Kart X or some
Give
shit
me a
like
second, bro. Give me a second, bro. Because you just told me that you're predicting
that. I'm
that
predicting
Nintendo is gonna come out with something different and not another Switch.
No, I mean that's a good interpretation of what I said, but it's not what I said.
That
All
is
I said
exactly
was
what
that-
you said.
All I said was that they just gonna release something.
A
They're
new
gonna release-
console.
They're gonna release a new console. It's not gonna be the Switch.
It is gonna be the Switch. Parte dos.
Oh, that's what you think. So
That's what I think.
So
You can't take that name away, bro.
So
Yeah.
we've had some discussions, right, like on the podcast in the past about Switch 2 rumors and things like that. Right now there's a lot of conversation that's
They're on
happening
fire
on
right
the
now.
internet about what Nintendo's putting out for their next console. Some developers have commented that they have dev kits for it already. I assume that people are getting games ready to launch when the system is ready to launch, which if Nintendo is looking at putting out a new system, they may want to do it next year in 2024, which would be about a 7-year life cycle for the Switch, which I have commented on in the past. I have commented on in the past that a console generation is typically 6 to 7 years. They're more than likely going to put something out in 2024. And there's just been so many rumors, so many people just talking shit, honestly, just really being excited and being hyped for the idea of Nintendo putting out a new console. They're basically suggesting that Nintendo wants to release something like what Crispin is talking about, a new version of the Switch, or what I believe is going to happen is a new console that is coincidentally backwards compatible with the Switch.
So you're thinking like a Wii U to the Wii situation, in a sense.
Yeah, or like even how the Wii was backwards compatible with GameCube.
The GameCube, yep.
Okay.
Things like that.
That was gonna be one of my questions. Do you guys think they're gonna make it backwards compatible? Which, if they don't,
Yes.
it's kind of crazy.
They
Yep. But what I was thinking is like, I'm gonna pull my Switch up right now.
Go for it.
And you see how the Switch, the form factor of the Switch itself. Sorry for my greasy hands.
It's okay.
The form factor of the Switch, this part, the black part right here, where the Switch, like the console itself, I think they should upgrade that, and for this shit, make them a little bit thicker.
I think
the dongles, Joy-Cons or whatever.
The Joy-Cons. So you want a Joy-Con that has like an actual grip to it.
And I think that Nintendo should take this technology from cameras. So I'm a photographer, so I have a camera that one slot takes 2 different sizes of like SD card.
Yeah.
Right. So if you make an SD card that is like not an SD card, a game that is a little bit bigger than, because like a Switch game is as big as this, right? If you can make the game a little bit bigger so it could hold more information and the graphics could be better, adding to the graphics of the actual console, and you could put more data in there, make that the for the newer one, like the new games, make them that big, but you could also put the older games in that same slot, so you don't have to make a different hole. You see what I'm saying?
So Nintendo did something similar when they released the 3DS. So the 3DS was basically like a newer version of the Nintendo DS, but with that 3D functionality to it. And you could put a regular Nintendo DS game in the 3DS cart slot, even though the
Yep.
cartridges were shaped slightly differently.
Going to what you were saying, John. Yeah, that something like that would be ideal. But now since I know digital shit is digital now, I just think they're gonna use the same store and they're gonna be like, yo, if you have
They
a physical game, we could give you a code to turn into a digital game. Or some bullshit like that.
I don't
Cause
think they would do that. I think they would probably want you to buy the game
buy it
again
again,
if that's the case.
give you like a
But
discount or some shit.
they've already said that they want
Physical.
consumers Nintendo accounts to carry over into future generations. So I guess
Okay.
Nintendo is starting now to
To
build on their
to
digital
connect everything.
infrastructure. Yeah, so they want to kind of get on the same page as everyone else. They just do it really slow because they worry about how large of an adolescent player base that they have. So whatever you put out needs to be child safe and child friendly for their brand. Like
I
it,
think
it, it
also, sorry to cut you off, John. I think also is the way that the Japanese do things, because they always focus. Like people think, oh, Nintendo's not dropping things that people like over here, or all their games are like this, or their games are like that. It's because they mostly focus on their own country. To be
yeah,
honest,
they're focused on
they're
their
focused.
consumers
Yeah.
first and the rest of
So
the world
their
second.
consumers, number one, Japanese people like physical shit. So
Yes,
I don't think they're ever gonna go away from that. But like I said,
maybe.
it depends on what the Japanese people are doing too. Like it's
The,
really about that.
Now you mentioned Crispin about like adapting camera stuff, right?
Yeah.
It's funny that you say that because there's one rumor that's going around that suggests Nintendo wants to put cameras on this new Switch.
Mm.
So basically, what the cameras would do is allow you to play certain games in like an AR functionality.
I mean, didn't the 3D? Okay, it could be foggy. I think the 3DS did have a camera. No,
The 3DS
Yeah, it
had
they
did.
had
cameras
games
on it
that required the
and
camera,
allowed
so
you to
to
use
like
the
draw and
cameras
doodle.
to
Yep.
play. Yeah, and you can also play AR games. So like
But what
you
AR
could,
game would you? I don't
hey, I'm
like
not sure.
I'm
I
thinking
mean,
about it right now.
they got a lot of Olympic games, a lot of memes putting your faces on. I'm pretty sure they could WarioWare alone. You could definitely make some AR games out of.
You
That's
could
true.
definitely play mini games. There would probably be a Mario
Pokemon
Party that
Snap, bro.
uses it, or a Pokemon
Mm.
game,
Combine
or
Pokemon Snap with Pokemon Go and just take pictures of the Pokemon that come out in the street.
there's that. Mikey brings up a good point where there's a
Workout
lot
games.
of fitness games that could probably use the AR technology. I'm not entirely sure what the
It
AR would be measuring
it would be a
while you're
little.
working out.
That would only be if it's in the docked mode, though. I would imagine.
I,
I
I
don't.
would I would
I'm
assume
gonna throw
the
out a
AR
crazy
cameras would
question,
work in handheld mode, not in docked mode.
guys. I'm gonna throw out a crazy question.
What's your question?
We were talking about games, but we went away from talking about the console. Let's go back to the console.
We're talking
Okay,
about the cameras on the console.
okay, but I this is a rumor that somebody else has. I got a question for you guys. What is your dream feature that this should have?
4K.
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 That's simple though.
There's
Give me
It's
something
for
crazy.
it
no.
runs.
Something.
I say that because if you see the Mortal Kombat that just recently they showed the comparison between the visual quality of that to the consoles, it looks like shit.
Mm.
Like not for nothing, it's a bad comparison, but thinking about oh my god, John, the mobile PC, the mobile PC with the hand
Which one?
I'm trying to
The
remember
one
what
you have, the
the one
Steam,
you have. What's
the
it called?
Steam Deck.
Mobile
Steam
PC.
Deck, yeah,
I don't
Steam
have
Deck.
a Steam Deck.
So, for example,
Oh my bad.
you have the Steam
I thought
Deck.
you did.
You have the Steam Deck that obviously it is more money and whatnot, but you're literally playing quality console games on it on a handheld format. I feel like Nintendo has always played it safe because of their adolescent fan base. So this could be the push to say, all right, you know what? It's 2023. 4K is a thing. There's no reason why the OLED came out. They try to push it a little bit. There's no reason why you can't push the envelope on this one. I can't.
They're gonna
I would.
have to.
They're gonna have to. It's gonna be a price increase, probably like another $100. But if we're going into the next gen, 4K is the next gen. The quality has to increase. Thinking about Breath of the Wild. Um,
Mhm.
it's not to say that the Switch's capabilities are not there, because you look at a game like that, it's really it's up to the developers to decide how much power they want to put into it. But imagine that in 2160p beautiful quality, especially for streaming and
There's
whatnot.
a lot of games that would benefit from that, to be honest.
Yeah.
So the Switch right now runs on an NVIDIA chip, right? And
Mhm.
NVIDIA has a DLSS technology that basically can artificially upscale uh, games, right?
That's what
So
happened when it docked up.
yeah, so not necessarily. So it does upscale a little bit because it runs at 1080p when it's docked, because the dock is capable of outputting 1080p. So the system itself can do 1080p, but the display can't show it. It can only show 720p
Garbage.
in handheld mode. But they're suggesting that with the DLSS technology that NVIDIA has, they could put a new NVIDIA chip in this new Switch that, even though it won't actually be running a game at 4K 60, it will look 4K and 60
I'll take
because
it.
of the artificial upscaling. So
I think
that's it. That's a possibility. So that some of the things that people are saying could be a thing, which I kind of hope is a thing, right? Because I mean, at this point, as the years go by, the technology becomes cheaper, and one of Nintendo's specialties is making new devices with older pieces of technology. It creates for larger profit margins. It creates for easy mass production. And Nintendo hasn't always been focused on necessarily staying up to date with graphical fidelity or what's happening with online gaming. Nintendo is very, very, very fully aware that their IPs, their intellectual properties, Mario, Zelda, Kirby, Donkey Kong, all the classics, and even the new stuff like Xenoblade and so on and so forth. There are so
Splatoon.
many IPs, Pinkman, you name it, just that are really, really strong games, really strong franchises and strong IPs that when a new Zelda game comes out, it's
No
a
matter
new
what it
Zelda
is.
game.
No matter what it is.
Like when a new Mario game comes out, like a new
No
Mario game
matter.
is coming out in like a day or two. Mario Brothers Wonder,
Mhm.
is coming out, and that's going to be a big seller and a big deal. Um, so they're going to focus on the games and the experiences that those games provide their players rather than creating a machine or a box that's going to run at 4K 60. I do think that with this new chip idea that's been floating around, they could achieve something like that. I think that they may do something like what Crispin is talking about, where it's backwards compatible using the same cartridge slot, but the cartridge might be different so it can hold more data, because we've noticed that the Switch cartridges don't hold that much data, but that's also
Mhm.
because Nintendo manufactures their own cartridges. So if you are a game developer and you want a physical release, you have to buy your physical game cartridges from Nintendo, who sell them at Nintendo prices, not wholesale prices. So
Facts.
there's a lot that kind of goes into the
The, that
physical
that
game
part. That
sales,
part.
right?
Yeah, that part. Sales.
But it's something where, like, I agree with you, Crispin, that I think that the shape of the Joy-Con is just not ergonomic. But realistically, the Joy-Cons were made this way so that way you could flip it on its side and you would have a joystick and your inputs on the other side. So you could have two players on one console and not need two controllers,
Yeah,
essentially.
but you could build something that's a little bit more comfortable
You
and
Yeah.
could, you
and
absolutely
and make it
could,
and make
and
it
I would
comfortable the other
want
way
that.
as well.
I would want
Yeah.
that, but that's the reason why. Now, you may not know. I don't know when this video is going out. But
Yep.
there's a video that's going out where I talk about the Satisfy grip, and then I compare it
I have a
to
grip too.
this this
Yeah.
I
this
don't know what
bad
it is though.
boy right here by Cracked, the Nitro deck. So I compare both of those. So that video should be coming out soon.
Yeah.
But those no, you go, Shawny. You go.
No,
You go.
no. I was gonna say, basically, from my point of it, just to piggyback off of you, I do agree that something does need to happen with the Joy Cons, because this thing saved my wrist because just trying to play like, especially now with the Switches, these high quality, more versatile games that require a lot of actual gaming fingers and whatnot. If you're holding the Switch regularly, that shit messes your wrist up really really fast. It's not
Absolutely.
ergonomically friendly at all. So that
Not for adult
all
hands.
for
I'm
adult
gonna
at
say-
least.
All I'm gonna say, you guys see how the Steam Deck has these little lumps in the back, right?
Yes.
You can make Joy-Cons that are as fat as that.
Yes.
and it could work the other way as well.
Yeah, and
that
that's
would make
what,
it more comfortable.
now,
and
like
make-
I said, you're gonna want to watch that video that's coming out where I compare these devices. But that's what
Facts,
this
go see that.
company did, where
Yeah.
this company created, a cradle for you to put your Switch in and have that exact Steam Deck kind of form factor to it.
Yeah.
There are lots of third-party options for that, but we want to see what Nintendo
Nintendo's
is
gonna come
going
out
to
with-
do to fix maybe some of the problems that the Switch has had during this generation. Now, before we head out, I want to remind everybody that maybe a year or two ago, I don't remember at this point, we've been doing this for a long time. But a while back, I had told everyone that I believe the Switch has a 10-year lifespan, and I still stand on that. I still believe that the Switch has a 10-year lifespan, but it'll be a few years of its lifespan will obviously trickle
gonna be
over into the next
the next one.
console generation, but it's easily going 10 years, maybe more. They might still be supporting the Switch for like 12 years, but I genuinely think that the Switch has a
Nintendo always
10-year.
does that though.
Yeah.
They cut it off after a certain point. Like we
depends-
just saw the end of the 3DS era this year.
Yeah. But the 3DS been gone.
That was a
for-
long time,
Come on.
bro.
That's what
Yep.
I'm saying.
And I'm expecting the
console
Switch.
going.
I'm expecting the
The
Switch
Switch-
to do better than the 3DS did when it
I
comes
will
to
agree.
longevity.
Because it's definitely gonna, at that point, for my last point, it's gonna be the economic friendly option once the new generation option comes out. They're gonna the price could probably, either the next gen one is gonna be $400, or they're gonna drop this one down to $250. 200 is still a little bit early right now because we have the Switch Lite, and those are the cheaper versions. So at max, you can see the Switch dropping by like $50, if that. And that could take 2-3 years.
What's funny is I believe that they would just maybe increase the
as it
price
is.
of the new one and leave the Switch the exact price that it is, because they have not once, not even during COVID,
True.
decided to put the Switch on sale. Nor has there been a Black Friday special on the Nintendo Switch. They
You
just
always
give
get
you
Mario
Mario
Kart
Kart.
8. Yep.
That's it. They're like, you want something? Play Mario Kart. That's it. But you're buying the Switch. You're gonna buy this
Fuck
motherfucker.
out of here. Take us
And you
out
go-
of here, John.
Yeah.
Take us out of here, bro.
Look, I'm telling you, mark my words, Nintendo
Mm.
will put out another console. Okay, they will.
Don't forget to comment, subscribe, follow us everywhere. Nerdy
All
by
that
Nature
shit.
TV, everywhere, everywhere, bro.
Everywhere?
We are everywhere. We at your mama house
Right now.
right now. We
Shit.
at your mama house, granny house, auntie house, your sister house. Not your sister house. We're not disrespecting your sister. We leave your sister alone.
That's
Your-
where we
your
draw the
cou-
line.
Your cousin house, yeah, because grandma and mama, they just cooking for us. We just chilling. Sister,
Grandma makes some good ass rice.
sister, we don't want to be at sister house. She probably want to smoke and all that. We don't do all that. We chilling. Peace out. Subscribe,
Yeah,
follow.
good night, good morning.
And if you want to hear our podcast that comes on every other
YouTube.
week,
The Nerdy by Nature.
you can be on our
podcast,
YouTube
yes.
right here. You can be on YouTube right here, but you can find us on Spotify. You can find us on Apple Music. You
Oh,
might
yeah.
find us on Google Podcasts if that shit's still going on. You can find
I
us
doubt
in any other podcast. You probably gonna find us there. And if we're not there, just find us where we at. God damn it.